Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, preview and prediction for Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury. So listen, I don't need to sell you guys this fight. It's an undisputed heavyweight fight between two unbeaten fighters in Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. Goes down in Saudi Arabia, takes place this weekend on the 18th of May. And the boxing world, of course, is waiting in anticipation, you know? Let's break down the tale of the tape. Oleksandr Usyk, the unified champion, has a record of 21-0, 14 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Tyson Fury has a record of 34-0, 1 draw, 24 of his 34 wins coming by way of knockout. Oleksandr Usyk is listed as 6'3" with a 78-inch reach, whereas Tyson Fury is listed as 6'9" with an 85-inch reach. So, on paper, Fury is 6 inches taller with a 7-inch reach advantage, which is considerable. Of course, Tyson Fury is also a much heavier man as well, so Tyson Fury, in every aspect, is a much bigger man than Oleksandr Usyk, and you would imagine that will factor into Tyson Fury's game plan. Oleksandr Usyk is 37 years old, whereas Tyson Fury is 35 years old. That's interesting. Usyk is older, and very often we will see the older fighter as the guy who is further past his prime, but the difference here is Oleksandr Usyk, as far as we know, lives his life very well outside the ring. You know, doesn't balloon up in weight, hasn't had the drug issues that Tyson Fury has, the inactivity, etc. Tyson Fury, despite being younger, may actually have more miles on the clock. Even in regards to the heavyweight fights he's had, you know, he's had hard fights with Wilder twice, being dropped heavily against Wilder, and, you know, having other hard fights throughout his career, getting dropped, etc. So, Usyk's the older man, but he could still be the fresher man in this fight. Oleksandr Usyk, of course, is a southpaw, whereas Tyson Fury, he usually starts as orthodox, but he can fight in both stances. He's a switch hitter, you could say. But anyway, now the tale of the tape is out of the way, let's have a discussion in regards to what I believe each guy should do to stand the best chances of winning, and a few other things here and there as well. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the political angle to this fight. I think when these sort of fights happen, you would be remiss not to mention these types of issues. You would assume that Tyson Fury is the A-side in this fight. Turki Al-Sheikh, of course, has called him his favourite fighter. And there's a big money fight down the line with Anthony Joshua if Tyson Fury were to beat Oleksandr Usyk. And you know, there's many people in boxing who really want that fight to happen for obvious reasons. So I think it's fair to say Tyson Fury is the A-side, and that could be important, especially in regards to how this fight is officiated. I think the referee could be very important in this bout, depending on Tyson Fury's game plan, of course. So yeah, we have to consider the A-side politics here. Having said that, I will caveat that with saying, I was surprised with how the referees officiated for Joshua Usyk fights. I felt the referees did a really good job in those fights, which I was surprised by. So, listen, we could get another curveball here. I want to start with Tyson Fury because him leading into this fight, I do have concerns about his current state. For me, Tyson Fury hasn't looked all that great since the Dillian Whyte fight. Obviously, the Ngannou fight we know. But even the Derek Chisora fight, there were things about Fury's performance that, you know, really kind of concerned me a little bit in regards to things like the balance, the dexterity, the snappiness of his punches, etc. For me, Fury looked really ragged in that fight. And don't get me wrong, he dominated Derek Chisora because Chisora was washed to bits. But I felt there were aspects about that fight that were messy from Tyson Fury. And obviously, then going into the Ngannou fight, we know what happened. For me, the last time Fury looked good was the Dillian Whyte fight. He pretty much had that fight his own way. Even in that fight, though, I want you to go back and watch it. Dillian Whyte came out in round 1, and he surprised us all by coming out as a southpaw. We all laughed at it, by the way, because it wasn't effective. However, one thing Dillian Whyte did do surprisingly enough, he was actually able to easily get his foot on the outside of Tyson Fury's, and that's what you want to do as for southpaw. And it's kind of interesting watching Dillian Whyte able to do that when he adopted the southpaw stance, because Dillian can't fight in that stance. We saw how he was throwing punches out of the southpaw stance, but he was able to get the lead foot positioning on Tyson Fury. He just didn't have the skills to do anything with it. And we go back to Tyson Fury against southpaws previously, notably Otto Wallin. Wallin was very good with his feet in that fight in regards to getting his lead foot on the outside of Tyson Fury's, and that gave Tyson Fury issues throughout the fight. You know, Wallin was able to then land the overhand left, he got himself in good positions, and especially he was able to mount good body attacks on Tyson Fury. And of course, Wallin's feet are nowhere near as good as Oleksandr Usyk's, both in terms of technical footwork and also foot speed as well. So the fact that Tyson Fury never fully figured out the footwork game against Wallin may be concerning, because when you look at that fight for what it was, Fury never really won the technical battle against Otto Wallin. He didn't start great, he obviously got cut, and instead he turned it into a street fight. He turned into an inside fighter, using his size, using his strength, etc., using his better inside ability, and he was able to beat Otto Wallin that way. And it worked, of course, and he won the fight. And what I'm getting at is, I think Tyson Fury in this Usyk bout would be better served being the aggressor. He'd be better served trying to utilise his height, his size, in an aggressive way, not so much in an outboxer way. And that's one thing I doubt in regards to this fight. It looks like Tyson Fury's leaner than he has been in the last few fights. I don't think necessarily training to then move more is necessarily great for Tyson Fury. I would be trying to do what he's been doing, holding his feet a little more and being more aggressive, sitting down on his shots, trying to get the respect of Oleksandr Usyk and wear him down. I just feel playing tit-tat boxing with Oleksandr Usyk lets Usyk get into his rhythm and lets Usyk set the pace, because when guys try to box with Usyk, you have to contend with so much. The in and out movement, the side to side movement, the level changes, the feints, the lead hand control, the speed, you know, the dexterity, the angles of punches and where they're coming from. You have to deal with so much to the point to where it almost exhausts you. It almost puts you into a state of overthinking things, you know, like it did with Joshua in the first fight. You know, Joshua was trying to go movement for movement against Usyk, and he tired himself out. You know, we saw Joshua flagging badly towards the end of that fight. Now, I think Fury has a better gas tank than Joshua, obviously, but for such a big man to do that against Oleksandr Usyk, I think Fury would feel the pace as well if he tries a similar tactic. You know, trying to go jab for jab, feint for feint, movement for movement. I think that would be a bad idea for Tyson Fury. So for me, Tyson Fury in this bout needs to take it back to being the aggressor, being the big man. Try not to let Usyk get into his rhythm and make it his sort of fight. So right from the outset, I want to see Fury take an aggressive approach. You know, stay tight, stay covered up, but come in behind the double jab and really try to walk Usyk down. Fury's got a lovely double jab that he can use very well on the front foot. Also, I'd like to see him come out as a southpaw to use that jab as almost a power shot. Usyk hasn't fought a southpaw since Tabisu Machunu back in, 2016? So Usyk's not seen a southpaw in a while. So maybe it'll be interesting for Fury to come out in a southpaw stance and try to be aggressive from it. Coming forwards, compact, like a good high guard. Don't come forwards and try and play lead hand control and go tit for tat, but come forwards with a high guard and fire that jab from the southpaw stance, double up a jab, and then maybe try to quickly close the distance, and then maul Usyk on the inside. You know, one thing about Tyson Fury on the inside when he's fighting a shorter opponent, he's very good at making a home for his uppercut, and sometimes he does it by illegal means, like he'll hold your head with his other hand and then he'll fire the uppercut, but he can also create space for himself on the inside quite effectively for a big man. And on the inside, despite being so much bigger, Fury I could see having success against Usyk up close on the inside. Usyk is not a brilliant inside fighter by any means. He can handle himself, but Usyk's not a great inside fighter. Maybe Fury's better on the inside than Oleksandr Usyk. I'm not saying Usyk's bad on the inside, but he's much better at mid-range and of course on the outside. And quite frankly, even if Usyk is a little better than Fury on the inside, Fury is so much bigger that his inside work by definition, by default, may be more effective because he's stronger. You know, he's going to be generating more power up close, more than likely. So for me, I want to see Fury be really aggressive in this fight, like be ultra aggressive. I'm talking Deontay Wilder too aggressive, that sort of aggressive. But only difference being, like, primarily do it from the southpaw stance. Providing Fury starts well and has success out of his aggressive style, then maybe as the fight goes on, Fury can look at using that southpaw lead hand, the right hand, to then basically parry down Usyk's lead hand, because Fury's a lot taller than Oleksandr Usyk. If he's going to play lead hand control, I actually think he'll be better off doing it out from a southpaw stance, because he's got the height on Usyk, so it'd be easier because the hands are closer together. The lead hands are closer together if you're both fighting southpaw. So maybe Fury could then use his lead hand to pat down Usyk's, then maybe find a home for his straight left kind of thing, or even then hook around the side with a right hook. I still think the lead hand game with Usyk is very, very dangerous, but if Fury's going to do it, I think maybe it would be better out of a southpaw stance, to be honest. And aside from that, obviously, I want to see, Fury try to invest to the body, try to slow the legs down of Usyk, try to slow the movement down of Usyk. It's his greatest asset, the movement, both in terms of feet, hands, waist, head. He moves everywhere, kind of thing. So if Fury can mount a body attack, that would also be very beneficial for him, in my opinion. And most importantly, stay switched on. I think there's a narrative going around that Usyk can't hurt Fury. I think he can. I think he can hurt Fury because Usyk's got a knack of catching you with shots you don't see coming. Particularly the overhand left, that kind of he'll kind of fire it from low sometimes and come up, and it will catch you by surprise. Fury has to be switched on to that. Either be leaning back or be having a nice tight guard, try to block that shot, try to evade it. Because I think Usyk can definitely hurt Fury. Non-punchers have dropped Fury, like Steve Cunningham, for example, Nevin Pikic. Otto Wallin hurt Tyson Fury in round 12 with a left hand. So I think Usyk can hurt Fury, and I don't think Fury should go into this fight with the mindset that Usyk can't, because that then could lead him into a world of trouble. But for me, Fury has to be aggressive in this bout. And I think he'll be best suited doing it from round 1. Try to force a pace on Usyk. Don't let Usyk force a pace on him, kind of thing. Because again, I've seen a lot of people speculate about Fury trying to outbox Usyk. I don't think that would work out well, to be honest. I don't, because then you're fighting at Usyk's pace, which is hard. It's hard to keep up with. But if Fury sets his own pace, his own type of pace, I think Fury would have much more success. As for Oleksandr Usyk, interesting. For me, one aspect of Tyson Fury that hasn't ever really been tested is the body. Aside from maybe the Otto Wallin fight, Wallin had a lot of success to the body. I want to see Usyk really try to fire that straight left to the body against Tyson Fury. It was one of his best shots against Anthony Joshua, and maybe it resulted in, especially the first fight, Joshua in gassing out. He was landing so many straight left hands to the breadbasket. And I think they took their effect on Anthony Joshua. I think either way that shot's going to be there for Oleksandr Usyk, no matter what stance Fury's in. I've always felt Fury's been open to body attacks. Most fighters, though, haven't had the opportunity to really exploit them. And I want to see Usyk go to that body off the level changes that he does. Not only to try and slow Tyson's legs down and try and reduce his gas tank, but also to use it as a method to set up other punches, namely the overhand left to the head, which Usyk throws so well. Again, that was a reason he was able to land that shot so well against AJ. He would feint downstairs after a few body shots, and then he'd come up over the top with the overhand left. That could then make that shot more viable for Oleksandr Usyk if he goes to the body first, or goes to the body a lot with a straight left, he can then feint it, come over the top with the left hand to the head. Or maybe feint the left hand downstairs and come up with like a corkscrew up jab kind of thing. Another shot Usyk throws pretty well from that southpaw stance. I actually think the bodywork of Usyk is an element to his game that's been underrated ever since this guy's been a world level fighter. I think Usyk has very much underrated body punching, not just in regards to how effective it is, like I said, in regards to slowing people down, but also how effective it is in regards to then setting up other shots for Oleksandr Usyk. I also think when Usyk has his little bursts, I actually think it's quite imperative that he utilises the right exit instead of going left. Usyk can go either way, but for me, Tyson Fury probably wouldn't cope as well if Usyk were to do his little flurries and then spin out to his right, because Fury traditionally moves to his left, whether he's fighting southpaw or orthodox. And I think by Usyk constantly escaping to his right, I think then you'd be more likely seeing Fury then having to reset to regain his position in the ring, which could then give Usyk more opportunities to land like ambush type shots, etc., and catch Tyson Fury unawares. Oleksandr Usyk is actually a lot more comfortable going left and right in comparison to Tyson Fury. The only thing, if Usyk tries to escape to his right when Tyson Fury is fighting orthodox, he does need to be aware of Tyson Fury's long left hook. You know, you don't want to turn into that shot, but you know that can be avoided primarily by, you know, getting out low and then kind of spinning out. But I think the right exit for Oleksandr Usyk, consistently spamming that, might be a good way of making Tyson constantly reset in there. Another aspect in regards to this fight for Usyk is, for me, he does need to find moments to where he can really sit down on his punches. Again, much like Fury, I think needs to get Usyk's respect and try and force him into his rhythm. I would say the same for Oleksandr Usyk, you know. Tyson Fury has to have some sort of deterrent, you know, because let's say Fury, for example, boxes with Usyk and it's not going well for Fury. If Usyk hasn't like caught him with some big shots, then Fury's not going to be deterred from switching things up, then maybe becoming aggressive. If I'm Usyk, I'd be trying to catch Fury early with some good shots just to make him aware that, yeah, I'm a smaller guy, but I've got speed, and you are going to feel these shots, to make, again, Tyson Fury second guess himself, not just by making him reset, but by catching him with good shots as well. I know Usyk's going to go in there with a mindset that he's the better boxer, and I'm sure he'll feel that he can outbox Tyson, but he needs to be aware of the situation for a start as well, for political angle, and he does need to go in there and try and hurt Fury, in my opinion. Whether that could result in a stoppage or not, who knows? I happen to believe that this fight will go the distance. I'm not ruling out a stoppage either way, by the way. But I happen to believe it goes the distance, and with that said, Usyk needs to leave his mark. For me, this fight is hard to call due to a variety of different reasons. I see Usyk as a much more skilled fighter than Tyson Fury, but obviously Fury has such a size advantage to where that skill differential isn't as relevant. And also there's the political aspects to this fight as well that you have to consider. Another negative actually that's just popped to my mind before I actually make my final prediction in regards to Fury is the scar tissue. You know, obviously he got cut by Otto Wallin 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, bad cut. But he obviously suffered a cut in training camp that caused this fight to be postponed. And, you know, from the pictures at least, it looked a bad cut. Usyk has those kind of slashing punches. It's hard to explain, but he has those sort of slashing punches. And possibly you could see the cut open up here in this fight. Again, if that's the case, that could be detrimental for Tyson Fury, because you need both eyes against Oleksandr Usyk. You really do, to see what he's doing. You know, he does so much that you need a clear vision. You know, but the scar tissue of Tyson Fury is an interesting factor that I've not really heard many people talk about, but it's worth considering in my opinion. But regardless, who do I think is going to win this fight? I'm going to say, I'm actually going to go Oleksandr Usyk on points. I know he's up against it in certain aspects, like in regards to the size and maybe the political side. But I'm just going to go with Usyk on points. I'm going to go with Usyk on points, personally. Not really confident, considering. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go Oleksandr Usyk on points. What about you guys? How do you see this fight playing out? Who have you got and how? What method? Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.